pulled the plug on the AI's brain. Here's why that's a problem. What happens when the most powerful military in the world rips out the AI system at the core of its operations and replaces it with something else overnight? That's not a hypothetical. It's happening right now, and the consequence could set American military AI back by years. Okay, background. How did we get there? To understand what's at stake, you need to understand how deep Anthropic's roots go inside the U.S. military. Anthropic, the company behind the Claude AI model, didn't just sign a contract last year and show up with a product. Their work with the U.S. National Security Agency quietly started as far back as 2022. Then in November 2023, the Department of Defense made it official. A formal 2-year agreement worth up to $200 million in orders to develop and deploy frontier AI for national security operations. And Claude wasn't just sitting in a demo environment. It became the first major AI model nationally running on AI classified networks, on Pentagon classified networks, embedded directly into real mission workflows. We're talking intelligence analysis, mission planning, operational support, real work, real stakes. Okay, so what went wrong? The dispute. So what went wrong? The Pentagon, under the Trump administration, pushed Anthropic to strip out its AI safety guardrails, the built-in restrictions that prevent Claude from being used for certain harmful tasks. Anthropic refused. Their CEO said publicly that the Pentagon's demands were simply unacceptable and that Anthropic could not comply. The result? The Trump administration blacklisted Anthropic as a supply chain risk and issued an order giving the entire defense industry base 6 months to phase out anything built on Claude. Not just the DoD itself. Every defense contractor, every integrated system, every workflow touching Anthropic's stack. Now, why is this a big deal? Here's where it gets serious. You don't swap out AI at the center of classified military operations like update an app on your phone. Claude wasn't just available on Pentagon systems, it was integrated. That means custom workflows built around Claude's specific behavior. Fine-tuned processes validated over months or real-world use. Operators trained to work alongside it. Red team safety testing completed to meet the classified environment networks requirements. Institutional knowledge accumulated of roughly 3 to 4 years of iterative development. All of that is now potentially being thrown away. Experts and officials have explicitly warned that other vendors' models, while capable, are just behind for specialized government use cases. There's no doubt in replacement that arrives on, there's no drop in replacement that arrives on day one and performs identically. So who steps in? OpenAI was quick to announce a new Pentagon deal for classified networks almost immediately after the Anthropic ban. And to be clear, OpenAI builds capable, impressive models, but stepping in as a vendor is not the same as having years of classified integration already done. Think of it this way. You can hire a new engineer, but you can't instantly give them the institutional memory of the engineer who just left. Redoing integrations, revalidating the model, behavior on sensitive workflows, retraining personnel, rebuilding trust and safety frameworks, that's not a 6-month job. That could take years, even with the best intentions and resources. The bigger picture. There is an irony here worth noting. The Trump administration's stated goal is AI dominance, staying ahead of China and other competitors, but stabilizing the most advanced, most deeply integrated military AI deployment in the country over a guardrails dispute arguably slows down that mission, not accelerates it. It raises a legitimate question. Is removing safety constraints worth the cost of resetting years of operational progress? Whether you agree with Anthropic safety policies or not, their operational reality is stark. The U.S. military just pulled out the AI system that was the most deeply embedded in its classified infrastructure, built over 3 to 4 years, and now it's starting over with a new vendor. The transition won't be seamless. The setback is real. And the timeline to reach equivalent capability, again, nobody knows. It won't be short. Now, I believe that OpenAI and Google have signed letters saying that they agree with Anthropic's position. Now, I've worked on government computer projects 3 times. I worked at the Postal Service headquarters, the Department of Education. I personally wrote the computer code to calculate student loans for millions of students. And then I was at, IBM was the vendor there, and they couldn't figure how to get the code to work with their production system. So I modified it when IBM said it could not be done to work with the test system. And then later I was at the Internal Revenue Service. Unbelievable. 50 people would come to a meeting and there would be at least one asleep every time. Can you imagine Silicon tech nerds coming into this environment? Well, anyway, I mean, when we worked at the Internal Revenue Service, it was beyond ridiculous. The vendors, us, we could not touch the IRS computers, so we had to telephone instructions through to some people who did that, some quite incapacitated people that simply had not the cognitive skills to understand or execute what we were talking about. So anyway, working with government is like the myth of Sisyphus, pushing the rock uphill. So Trump is not going to be able to rip this out and replace it. Now, Anthropic is ahead of OpenAI. It's out in front in working with business. So it's the businesses leading large language model vendor.